Oh, what is up, buds? Welcome to Weed&d, the pot positive live tabletop role-playing experience. I am your dungeon master for the night, Brandon Allen McClanahan. But my buds, call me Bam. Oh, thank you guys so much for being here. It is so good to be back. Thank you for bearing with us as we took a couple weeks off there. I was fortunate enough to be cast as Macbeth in the Nevada Shakespeare Festival's production of, or I was Macduff in the Nevada Shakespeare Festival's production of Macbeth. We ran for 2 weeks, and it was absolutely fantastic. Huge shout out. Thanks to everybody who made it out. Some of the buds who happened to come out and take a look. Thanks for being there, guys. Really appreciate you. And honestly, man, it was a part of my life. I don't do as much stage acting these days as I used to. I used to do like 15 shows a year. And man, it felt really good to be back. I can't lie. So thank you to everybody. Thanks for being so supportive. All the great messages and everything I received. Everything's great. I just was worn thin, man. I just didn't have the juice. And I got to have the juice to give it to you, buds, so that, we can make this little thing happen. So honestly, I just wanted a real quick couple shout outs. A belated happy birthday to two of the big buds with our show, Tyler Collinsworth and Sam Craner. Sam Craner of Good Night Sam, which we all say at the end of our sessions. Happy birthday, guys. We would have shouted you out, obviously, on the show, but we didn't get a chance to. Also, a belated happy Memorial Day. Big thanks and love to everybody who's put their life on the line for all of us to enjoy the simple pleasures of sitting around playing D&D with your friends. So thank you, guys. I hope you all had a lovely barbecues and took a sec just to reflect on how fucking lucky we are. Thank you so much to the whole team, my whole cast. It's so I can see their faces, and it's just making me happy. I am thrilled to be back, and honestly, at this point, I think that's probably more talking than we need from me. I think the most important thing to do is kick this thing off, and in order to do so, I got to pass this magic joint here through the fibers of the interwebs to my dear and wonderful friend, Brenna Folger. Hey, Brenna, how you doing, girl?
I am doing great, Bam. Thank you so much for passing it my way. I'm Brenna Folger, but you guys know me as the Thick Elves on Wii, the Cuddle Forge Monk. And I am excited to get some answers this week. This will be really nice. But something that I like to think about when I'm getting creative with my buds is crafting. And there's so many different types of crafting, and my favorite type of crafting, there's like paper mache, knitting, soldering, like all that kind of stuff, right? People make such stuff. I love putting a bunch of beads on shit. So I love kind of turning things like this is a garter belt thing, but for burlesque stuff. But I like to turn it into just maybe it's garbage. I don't know. This reminds me a lot of Dickens' Tangled Face. But yeah, I will add these kind of details and stuff. I fucking love it. It's meditative. I love that kind of thing. So Abby, when you get crafty, what do you like to do? And I gotta grab and put this down for you. Here you go.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Wow, what a great question. Making a mental note in my mind for Clownlesque, the upcoming clown burlesque scene. But like you, I'm a burlesque dancer and I like to get crafty with my costumes. So rhinestoning is something I enjoy a lot, just placing little shiny things onto other shiny things. But I'm gonna switch it up. It's not even my favorite. My favorite, it's knitting. It's knitting. I'm trying to teach myself how to knit again, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. But I also like D&D, and I can't wait to play it with you silly billies. You said it, my name's Abby Dandy, and around these parts, I'm a little bit better known as Amaryllis VonCheux, the level 2 tiefling sorceress, and oh my gosh, Drewby, let's get crafty, let's get into it. Tell me what you got going on.
Oh, yeah, baby, let's get swifty. Swifty, is that? Swifty. What up, y'all? Drew. Who do I play? Oh, that's right. Digbag Mo Leggington the Third. That's right. I'm a mofoca with the gat and the just coming straight at you like a straight up gangster. Yeah. We've been off for a little while. My favorite type of crafting is getting asked to do a roast of a legend in this town, like 18 years ago. No, it wasn't that long ago, but it was a while ago.
Now, though.
And just I stayed up all night doing things I shouldn't have been doing, and drinking tequila and writing all these roasts about some of my best friends that I still hang out with today. And I just love doing that. That's my crafty shit. I made people feel bad and they were not ready for it.
I blacked out at that roast.
I'm really good at that.
That's
People
also
are
craft.
surprised. So I think I also did, but it's fine.
It was crazy.
It's fine. Anyway, I'm fucking so excited to be back with all of the best people in the world. All the best people in the world. You buds are the best. Let's fucking get it. Best friend, come on in. How crafty you feeling?
Ooh, I'm feeling very crafty. Crafty enough that I just aped Bam's. Ooh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
Yeah, I'll be billing you.
You'll be hearing from my lawyers. Anyway, the lawyers are going to be hearing from Jake Taylor here again at last. I missed you guys. I missed all y'all. As Gary Greenheart, level 2 stout halfling paladin, and fucking crafts. I don't know, man. Props for knitting. That's always something that's kind of confounded me. It seems like it would just be nice, but I don't know. The first thing I thought it was clay, sculpting stuff. I did a ceramics class in high school, and it was just kind of pots and trays and stuff. But I liked it. It was calming. Just have that Demi Moore moment. But I guess that's my craft. But what could Gus's craft be? I'm very curious.
Oh, thank you very much, Jake. My favorite craft is Feruza Balk. She's super hot. I've had a crush on her for 30 years. No, I like to put faces on things that don't normally have them. That's my whole bag. Anthropomorphizing things, or I don't know. I don't know if that applies to that, but it was a big word, so I used it. That's right, I am Gus, 2 Blunts Langley. I crafted these blunts with my own bare hands, and I will be playing Dickens Tangleface, the Clown Clan Cleric. Say that 3 times fast. Back over to you, Bam.
Yeah! Oh, man. Guys, I just gotta say, it's so fucking good to see you, man. I missed your fucking beautiful faces throughout all this. I'm the luckiest fucking DM in the world, man. You can play with these guys every single week. It is such a joy. And being off for a little bit was strange and scary, and then I didn't like it. As far as crafts go, man, Gus, great craft joke there. It's quality. You know what? I actually like woodworking a lot. I'm sitting currently at a table that I helped construct. And that's kind of one of the things that I love about woodworking is there's a lot of art to it. The smell of sawed wood is very pleasing. And then when you're done, so much of what you make helps kind of do other things and just increases the experiences all around. So my father is a quite gifted gunsmith. He makes black powder rifles, and so kind of watching what you can turn a little piece of wood into has always baffled me through my life. So yeah, I would say woodworking. I'm not one of those guys that has a preferred Dutch jig. Or honestly, I don't even know the terminology, but I can build some shit. I've built a lot of sets in my life, and tables and chairs. And then, if clay, Jake, I would have made an ashtray. That's what I remember doing when somebody put clay in front of me. But yeah, guys, seriously, it's just so fucking good to be back. I love doing this thing, man. I love being here with these people, and I love fucking playing Dungeons and Dragons. So, fucking hey, I say we do that. And in order to do so, we got us a little ritual we like to do around here. Maybe you heard about it, maybe you haven't, but we like to take a lighter like this red one here. Just wait, maybe it'll change by the end of the show. It usually does. Make sure we're not going to light any of our friends, family, or household pets on fire and go. Lighters up. All right, let's play some fucking D&D. WeeDnD, high intro. Yo, I almost forgot about the intro. It makes me so happy. Holy crap. WeeDnD's back, baby. All right, friends. Ooh. If you'll please allow me to set the mood. When last we left the helping committee, they returned to the city of Humblepatch with the mysterious Godseed in their possession. What once seemed an egg of a ruby dragon that they had managed to save from the dark rituals of Oko, the Shadow Mask, had now been infused with a divine spark when the life force within channeled the wild and raw magics of Amaryllis VonCheux. Perhaps it was the influx of dark magic erupting from the nearby cave as the Shadow Mask took flight amidst a swarm of bats. Perhaps it was the sheer epicness of the fastball special as Dickens Tangleface used his cartoonish elasticity to launch pickles on Wee through the sky, guided to safety by the brilliant avarice of Digbag Moleggington III. Perhaps it was the stalwart focus of Gary Greenheart who bolstered the light of the Green Lady and drove back the forces of darkness. Or even still, perhaps it was the confluence of all of these things in a moment of concern for a friend. Whatever the cause, the Godseed now exists, and the helping committee must figure out what to do with it as they return to town and to each of their own singular lives for a brief moment. The Godseed called out to Amaryllis and pulled her within. All right, guys, we jump back in. Amaryllis. You recall being in the caves beneath the burrow with Digby as you both carried this brilliantly glowing seed of, called the Godseed, whispered back to you by the multiverse when the wild magics allowed you to speak a truth into the world. You spoke the word Sardial. And in that moment, the simple ruby dragon egg was forever changed and now has become this beacon of bright light and this warm energy that spills out of it, but also making it much harder to keep away from prying eyes. Now, you all as a group decided to bring this down underground into the burrow, where the depths of the restaurant would allow you to kind of hide it from other people that may be looking to find it, something that you had now been warned of as well. But in this moment, Amaryllis, as you and Digby are kind of cutting through this small service tunnel in the backside of the burrow, sneaking to get as low as you possibly can, you felt a warm glow against the egg. And when you set your hand against it and pressed your ear, your little sharp tiefling ears against the egg to hear, you felt the warmth of this creature within. And suddenly you felt that warmth begin to wash over your entire body. The last thing you feel is your tail kind of spaghetti straining into the egg. And suddenly, Amaryllis, you are surrounded by a bright golden light. You're kind of floating in the air. You don't feel the weight of your body, the breeze of the outside air. The smell of cinnamon, so common in Sativon, has faded away, and now you float amidst a sea of golden clouds. For a moment, you open your eyes, look, and on the horizon in all directions, it's just this seemingly endless void, but it feels warm and welcoming, as if you're being embraced by the very clouds that you float in all around you. You hear a turn and look, see the flap of wings. The clouds all gust and swirl off in a direction as you see a figure fly away and disappear once more. In an impossible amount of time, suddenly you feel it again behind you as you look off on one horizon. It flashes behind you again. And it seems like somehow this creature is everywhere all around you all at once, but isn't singular. You start to feel that even these clouds around you, this void, this golden embrace that surrounds you is all. It's everything in one singular point. And you hear from the stillness around you, As you hear the sound, your mind starts flashing on memories of your childhood. You remember being very young and setting off on your own. Your tiefling family working with traders and traveling around the world. You decided to settle in Sativan rather than use the explorer card that your family uses. And so you're suddenly reminded of, you feel this flash in your hand, and you're a little tiny tiefling, like a little girl, and you're looking up on a table, and there's a jar of candies, and suddenly you're looking around in the clouds. You flash back once more, and your hand is getting closer and closer to this jar of candies on the table, and you can feel the excitement building up inside you. There's almost this feeling like you're not supposed to be taking these candies, and so there may be a look over the shoulder as you kind of reach up toward this thing. You flash once more, and you're looking around at the clouds. You're reminded, suddenly you're in a new location entirely. The first time that you ever laid eyes on Cedric Engelmonder. You remember seeing him working at his laboratory and just so focused and passionate about what he was working on that rather than just introduce yourself, you sat there and watched him work for minutes, a little bit of sweat billowing off his handsome elven face. And you flash once more. You're floating. You shift again. You hear the loud booming sound in your ears, and you remember the first time you ever kissed a man. You recall, behind this bar after he had, brought you these beautiful gems day and day and day again, promising to tell you of where this cave was. There was this soft, subtle moment in the darkness. And so all of these really evocative, emotional moments from your life start flashing into your hand. But between each one, you see that hand reaching closer and closer to that jar of candies. Amaryllis, what do you do?
I'm feeling overwhelmed, but relaxed at the same time. And I feel so connected to that inner child and just continue to reach for the candy.
You see as you reach, you now matching the mental image in your mind, your own hand, your adult hand, the older woman of Amaryllis, not the older woman, but older than the child.
Excuse me?
Work appropriate jumps in. But you reach your hand out, and you can feel the time in this place. It feels like you're swimming through molasses. Your hand, even as you reach forward, you can feel this warm draw of energy pulling down on your arm as you reach up, toward this jar in front of you. For a moment, the memory and your current position kind of crisscross, and you see your adult hand reaching into the glass jar of the child. As your fingers kind of reach to gather one of the candies, you see the cloud in front of you forms into a little globule of candy. Again, as you kind of touch it, you see your hand changes back to the little girl's, even though your body remains yours. You're half in these two places at the same time. And you hear again, this loud, something is trying to communicate with you, but it does not know how. Amaryllis, what do?
I eat the candy.
How you do? All right, you take again. It's like as you draw on it, it's like feeling gravity pulling completely the opposite direction as this slow mercurial movement of this delicious treat into your mouth.
And I savor it completely. I let it like if it's like cotton candy, let it completely dissolve on my tongue.
You feel as it spreads over, your somewhat sharpened teeth. You have a little bit of a demonic history in your bloodline, and so even though you are quite striking physically, you have some sharp teeth, and there's still some menace that just bears just under the skin with Amaryllis VonCheux. And so in this moment, as you feel this kind of divine cloud dissolve in your mouth, you are instantly just filled with happiness. You feel it wash over you as if you're tasting all of the greatest tastes at the same time. And you feel the clouds around you again kind of moving like syrup, just slowly kind of start swirling around you, embracing your legs. You feel kind of the cool rush of clouds up your legs. You feel it kind of washing around your arms. You hear the booming noise. And then, Amaryllis, you feel a shift. You suddenly start tasting on your tongue the opposite of pleasure. A disgusting taste. Something that taints the mouth, that your body gutturally attempts to reject, as you feel similarly to how everything around you mimicked the happiness and joy of that moment from your childhood. Suddenly, you remember you're stuck in a memory of a cave-in. You remember you had gotten too adventurous, too bold, going into the caves after looking for a certain gem, and once the cave walls gave way and nearly killed you, you were trapped for hours. And as you're sitting there, tasting the taste of this food as it twists and corrupts in your mouth, you start remembering that anxiety, that feeling that maybe no one would ever come for you, that they would find your corpse here one day, hundreds of years from now perhaps, or perhaps you would just become swallowed by the earth. You shift and you can almost see these two memories floating side by side. The extreme happiness, the joy, the excitement of childhood, wonder, exploration, love, and lust. The other side, fear, betrayal, an awareness of suffering in your own life. And you're suddenly aware that this mixture around you, this place is what it is because it is what you have made it. And so the joy, the happiness, the golden clouds, now looming with dark, shadowy lightning bolts as you see darker clouds forming on the horizon, as these darker thoughts enter your mind, you realize that you are channeling the energies that are being recreated around you. You hear call out once more. And then nothing.
I feel almost consumed by the substance around me, and it starts to feel claustrophobic, and my heart rate is going really fast, but I'm aware that I can control this situation and the energy that I project. So I start thinking of good times. I remember other moments in my childhood. That same jar of candy, my mother would let me have a piece after I was finished with all of my little schoolwork, and it would bring me such joy and to have that connection with my mother like that. So I think strongly on that memory, and while I do that, I use my thaumaturgy to try to make the same sound.
I like it.
Like in call and response, yeah.
So you, as you explain, you have this claustrophobia as you're hanging in this void, this space, around you. Dark clouds at the edge, golden clouds closer to you. You feel that compression of the space. And you see the dark clouds kind of start being consumed. Everything kind of starts coming in and pressurizing around you. You really almost feel like you're in an egg. You feel that pressure pushing on all sides. And you find that as you link to this image of your mother, the giver of life, someone that these candies, their own little metaphor in a way, but these gifts that she would lay out before you to continue you along your path. And, you don't speak to your mother very much anymore. She and your father have been on a journey for quite some time, but things aren't necessarily bad between you. You just decided that you wanted to stay here and focus on your your pursuits of gems and this question of these gem dragons. You felt like the answer was scratching at you from behind every wall. And so as you focus on this thought of the mother, you remember suddenly, rather than memories from your own past, you see the image of that fountain when you first entered the temple of the Ruby Maiden, and the maternal instinct and energy that came from the small life force that grew before you and then gifted you her benevolence. You channel your thaumaturgy, sending that noise back in. Suddenly the world around you starts shaking. Dickens, you hear the banging of an ale clashing on the table in front of you. You see there's 3 empty ones at its side. This wayfarer fellow, dressed in these clown clothes, similarly striped pants and a painted face, not like your actual clown skin, but painted to match your appearance. Several empty ales now as he slams his bar down. The froth at the top of his ale spills, and he's looking at you, inviting you to have yet another drink. Up until this point, Dickens, it's just been kind of a tense moment. He welcomed you, he offered you to sit down. Heron, the Rabbit Man bartender, brought you over a couple drinks and has since brought a couple more over. But this conversation seems lingering. He seems interested to see what you have to say. You see the platinum ring on his finger, the only way you knew really to recognize him. His current sight, you remember, a bit of a surprise. You have yet to actually meet this man. And you see he's sitting there just kind of, fiddling at his platinum ring, looking up at you. And it looks like he's just taking you all in, all 7 feet, big tall glass of oat milk. He's just looking at every feature on your body as if he's trying to memorize it. You see him look at, a long strand of hair that sticks out strangely from your, clown-colored head. Little seams of your clothing that seem off. You notice he's paying special attention to all of those kinds of details. Dickens, you see him sitting there. Well, should I speak first, or will you?
I'm posing, because I noticed that he's taking it all in. And I comically go, draw, and then pull out a little pad and go.
So you see, he's on it, dude. He also pulls like a quick pencil out, and he starts trying to scribble down. He's just not as good at the spontaneity as you are, but he's trying to keep up with you.
So I drew a caricature of him, right? And I tear it off and go to hand it to him. And then I pull it back and I'm like, that's for me.
See, he looks at you and he's like, you're quite a strange fellow, Dickens Tangleface. That's why I wanted you. Did you see, it kind of looks around, leans in on the table. Again, the hop-along haven that you're sitting in, and, a tavern for the workers of the farms, a very quiet place, dim lights, not a spot for conversation. You see even the small, subtle sound of the mead glass landing on the table has raised the ire of a few of the grumpier patrons, that look over the bushy eyebrows at you and just, their bodies tired from a hard day's work. You see the wayfarer leans in. Did you have a chance to join our little group?
Yes, I did. I feel like we stick out a little bit here.
You see the clown sound. The people all kind of turn and look at you. Hear the heavy slopping of angry stew eating.
I just point at the guy like 2 booths away, and I'm like,
so you see he stands. You're right. He looks around, and again, because of the very nature of this place, like people have all kind of gone back to their own whatever. You see, he's like, you're right, Dickens. We do stick out a bit here. He looks at you real hard, and he twists the platinum ring on his finger. And you see the kind of crude, hand-painted clown makeup on his form, the clothes that somewhat match your identity. You watch as he turns the ring. He becomes a perfect replica of you. You kind of see as the ring twists, the paint blends into like actual skin. Suddenly his clothes, each of these strings, the strand of hair that you noticed that was sticking out askew, you see he settles it, and then he sits back down and looks at you with your own face.
Oh, I lean in to kiss him.
He kisses you. He reaches right in and just puts a wet one right on your lips. Like a nice cartoony kiss.
I got myself.
He's like, I bet you've always wanted to do that.
Who are you that knows me so well? Yes, I followed our friend around. I lived up to our end of the deal. And let me tell you, there was a lot that happened that you did not warn me about.
You see he leans forward, and you watch as if you were looking at something you were eagerly interested in. And what did happen?
So I proceed to give like a comically quick, like, okay, there was this and this and then a man on fire and blah, 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 blah.
All right, so just for the purposes of like how much of the are you doing a real outline of all the events that occurred?
I will tell him that I followed Amaryllis into the caves. I will tell him that we ran into some trouble in the caves. And then I will tell him that I was following Amaryllis until she disappeared early this morning. I'll also mention all of the nasty stuff you said and all the mayonnaise we gave to the...
Okay, so you mentioned the Draconians and the
Yes.
mask as well. Okay.
Yes.
But no mention of the Godseed. Do you mention that you found anything like that? The ruby egg, the dragon egg?
I'll say that we fought the goblin. I won't say what the goblin was doing.
Yeah. You see him, he's looking at you, and as you're talking, a wider and wider clown smile is crossing his face. Go on. He's prodding you to continue as you tell your story, and he seems quite entertained by the various details. Draconians. Oh, yes. Honk, honk. He honks his own little clown horn, and everybody looks over, and then you see they're all like, they just wipe their weary eyes. Surely they're just hallucinating. And they turn back to their hearty stews. So, all right. You see he kind of leans back.
Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Oh shit. Okay, so this is gonna sound crazy, but you know how I kept wanting to put that mask on?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, he looks like me. So this is a great opportunity to see what would happen without risking myself. So I'm like, let's see what would happen if I put this mask on me. So I like reach down into my pants and I'm like rummaging around looking for the mask. And I want to pull it out and slowly see if he'll like let me like hold still there.
All right. You pull out Oko, the shadow mask. You like reach in and you see he's got the angry red circles, the red squares. He's like, what the fuck, man? Why would you put me in your pants? Oh my God, your balls smell terrible. Oh man, the worst is oh God. And he's looking around, and as he's kind of yes, you see everybody in there's like, huh? What? And they're all looking, everybody looks a little dismayed. They're all, at this point, you guys have annoyed them so many times that they're like, I'm not even gonna look over there anymore. I'm not. Okay, Deborah, I'm not looking over there. And so it's like, they're all,
Sorry,
it's like you're sitting there and you hear the loud objections of Oko the mask. But you do notice that on the Wayfarer's face, your own face, quite interested in this object that you hold before you. See, he kind of looks out, looks forward. Oko's like, what's going on? What? You see the little eyes like turning to look, but he doesn't have the body anymore, so it's just he's stuck on a two-dimensional surface, and he's like, hey, what the fuck? Oh, come on, where's Pickles? Where's my buddy Pickles? Who are you, clown man?
I say, why do we want to put this on?
You see, Oko's like, yeah, fuck yes, yes, that's what you're correct, clown man. I like, well, you both. I don't know. It's okay. Your balls smell. And so finally, you kind of start putting them out. Now, Dickens, you feel, the Wayfarer just starts leaning in and like offering his face. So, you again, I'm not making the decision for you, but you do notice. And Oko's like, yes, put me on him. And you're pushing forward, and he's leaning forward to accept.
Oh man, I kind of just want to pie him in the face now, but I'll give him the mask. But it has whipped cream on it, so it's like.
All right, so you see, you're like, you see the angry, jolting, red squares and red mouth of the little tiki mask that is Oko's face, And you see now it's changed. It goes from the red squares to the yellow triangles and the little yellow buzz line. He seems to be like, oh, actually, maybe this isn't the. I'm not sure. I do miss pickles. Where's pickles though? And then you see finally, just as the mask it's like we're like watching it from the side, and you just hear slurping of stew nearby. But suddenly, as they start to get close to each other, the circles change to green. You see a happy circle smiling face on Oko the Shadow Mask. And you see these black tendrils start glowing and like reaching towards the Wayfarer's face. For a moment, you're like, and you kind of start maybe leaning back just a second. It's like now it's kind of pulling itself toward him. And then just before the mask secures on his face, you see him with the hand that has the platinum ring. He kind of goes and like catches all the black tendrils. And he's like, not today, buddy. And he stuffs him into his own pants. And you're just like, oh no, boss, no, oh no, oh no, this is the worst. Oh.
And I'm like,
and yes. What's that?
When he's like mumbling in the guy's pants, I'm like, he's gonna keep doing that.
You see, he's like, it's actually not so bad. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry about that. And you see he's kind of just like juicing around on the evil vibes of this a little bit, and he's like, oh. And finally he kind of looks up at you, and you see he's kind of pushing this like frenetic energy out of his face.
Well, I feel much better.
So do I. And he reaches under his bag, and Dick and Sangleface, as promised, 250 gold is set on there. And you see, and he hands it over to you, and he says, "You have, you've done what you were asked to do, but some things I find are." And he's like looking around, and he turns the ring again, and sitting there is Alonza Quinfowl. He's like sitting there suddenly, you see her long red hair as you saw her in the woods in front of you. And you see she's looking at you. I believe some things are worth more than money. Would you be willing to work for me again, Dickens? She looks at you with her wild wood elven eyes. You can't help but be just struck at how precise this duplication of her visage is. She's looking at you, again, still the same platinum ring on her finger. She just kind of twiddles at it, looking at you.
Well, I say yes. Oh, shit. Yes.
See, she turns the ring and smiles. Perhaps some information might be worth it for you. Perhaps knowledge of your parents?
I hadn't thought about them in a long time. But recently, and I'm like running my fingers through my hair and thinking about how it was the same colors as the dragons that we saw on the wall. I was like, something just got me thinking. Funny that you bring that up.
Well, the mask that you have given me helps me proceed. The woman you look at right now is a problem. She works for me. Alonza. Looks around in the room. Then you see, leans back in the chair. She leans back in the chair, and she's like, that'll be enough. And snaps her fingers. And every person in the room stands up and walks out, including Heron, the bartender. You hear the of the double doors. Go ahead.
Can one of the waiters drop off some pickles at our table because they just heard somebody talking about pickles, like just on the way out?
Just you see on your way out. Yes, Heron's like, sorry. And you see kind of long, brown, big rabbit ears, kind of sits down a plate of pickles. Thought I heard something about pickles. And he's like looking at both of you, and he's like, it. And then you see Alonza looks again, snaps her fingers, like, yes, sorry, I'm new. I'm new to this. I'm sorry. I apologize. And he backs out, and you see him pop out. You hear the closing doors once more. Gary, you hear the far side door of the barn behind you open. Roll me a d6. Gary Greenheart, you had returned your carriage with a cart that you had borrowed to your family's farm, sneaking it back in the same way that you had stole it in the middle of the night, hoping to return it unnoticed. You're standing there, you feel that cool breeze. You were looking, currently in your hand, you have a rooster. You're choking his throat as preventing the sound from coming out of his mouth as he was about to give you away. Just the faint slip of a as you grab it is all that has, echoed out around you. Feel the cool night sky. There is a presence behind you, a member perhaps of your family. What is? Give me a d6.
Let's find out. Still choking the chicken 2 weeks later. And a d6.
You didn't even take it.
We got a 4, baby.
All right. Gary, you're standing there. You've doffed your armor, because you were trying to come in stealthily. And, your feet, your big halfling feet are kind of settled on the soil of your homeland, the most fertile farmlands in the country. One of the greatest farms, the Greenheart farms in the world. You just bask in a bit of the smell of nostalgia, even as you're kind of holding in this little perilous moment. And you hear the of doors behind you. Sorry, I have to pull this dude up. But yeah, Gary, you turn around. You see standing there is Scary Bob. Your brother, Scary Bob. And you see he kind of opens the door and looks in at you and is just stops. You see his heavy, again, he's kind of not graced with the good looks of most of your family. Your mother Mary is very beautiful. Your father Gary is stout, firm man. Your brothers Barry and Larry, was it? Wait, Barry and
it's Barry and Jerry.
Jerry.
And then my sister's name is Harry. It's short for Harriet. But yeah.
But yes, all rather a good-looking stout family. Especially your brother Barry. It's kind of like a hunk for a halfling. A lot of farm time will do that. Make your body tough. But yeah, you see standing there before you. I'm just. And this is the song I sing when I go to get Scary Bob's token.
It's a great song, bam. I love that song.
So where's my man Scary?
Where's my man Scary?
Where's my man Scary?
Scary,
I had
where
him
you at?
because we used him. Oh, all right.
Just have to ask: is his real name Scarald?
Actually, and this kind of lends into how I would approach him. Is everyone calls him Scary Bob, but he's Larold Jr. So I've always called him LJ. So this can be like, hey LJ.
You see, he looks at you with his heavy eyes. Unfortunately, the original art I had. This guy's much too handsome, but this is the one I have under him right now. I apologize. But no, he does. I think I did just because he had the dark hair. The rest of your family has this like soft blonde hair, but he has really dark hair and dark features, and kind of just wasn't blessed with the best hand in life. He's just got some sunken features, and he's just a little off-putting, which led to kind of everybody in tow, including his own family, adopting him with the name Scary Bob. Mostly, it's due to his voice that he has that was caused by a farm injury when he was a boy that he was lucky to survive, but it's left him with a switchblade voice. Mm-hmm. And so he, you're sitting there and you lock eyes with him. You see his, dark green eyes, probably the only thing that you two share as far as physical appearance. His dark hair hanging over his face, his heavy hand as he sees you in the barn. What are you doing here? So you kill you.
I know. Just returning some things. I'm gonna hand him the chicken. Or the rooster.
She kind of sets the door behind him. You see he's very careful not to let it shut too loud. Turns, you got some balls on you, boy. Reaches out, grabs the chicken, looks around, gets calms it down a little bit. This is his farmland. He tends all this stuff, this area specifically. And so he's able to get the rooster to shut the fuck up, just kind of ties its little beak shut, lets it off. So he looks up at you and he's like, you couldn't have lent me a cart from somewhere else in town? The risk if Paul found you. He's still real mad about what you done. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God damn it. Yeah, I know, but sometimes the risk is just worth the reward, There's a lot going on, but before I get into any of that, how's the family? How's everyone doing?
I ain't been the same since you left. Cut 'em deep. And nobody ever left this farm before. Takes it out on some of us. What's that to you? It's all risk and reward, right? She's hurt.
It's not all that, LJ. It's I had to leave. And I'm so sorry that you were left behind, but I just had a calling. Remember when we were kids and the funniest thing I could ever do was just throw a pebble in the damn pond or in the damn well. Anytime you heard that boop, you just were rolling on the floor laughing. It was the best thing. And even just talking about it now just puts a smile on my face. But I had that bloop. The green lady, she spoke to me. And, well, I had to listen. And I'm sorry that you were left behind. And I want to reach in and give him a hug, but I don't know if this would work. Because I know lay on hands, I think if you use 5, it can cure a disease. Would that fix his voice?
It can.
Yeah, I'm just gonna squeeze him in tight, just to show him like what the green lady is all about.
So so if you use the resource, if it wouldn't quite. You don't know if it could heal. What ails his throat.
He's family. He's worth it. He's worth
exactly. You use it to kind of instill this warmth of the green lady that you have. You see, as you kind of go to hug him, he's hesitant at first, but the story that you shared with him, you see even a crack at the edge of his awfully stern face as he looks up. Even he kind of remembers making the noise for you, and just this, it's this. You guys kind of have this shared moment, and you embrace your brother, and you feel kind of that radiating glow of the lady. He's, not sure what the effect is. You see, he kind of steps away and he looks at you. I want you to know, I was never mad at you. Old Pa. But everybody else listens to him. Glad to see you here, but you can't stay. We gotta go.
I know.
Tarvin. He kind of gestures over. Tarvin Tenderberry, the priest of the Green Lady, the small temple here in town. Maybe Tarvin can hide you out, but with the festival tomorrow, everything going on, this is the day you gotta be here. Just go hide out. Leave this place like you did before. See, he looks at you. Glad you found something. But if I see you in the streets, you know how it is.
I know how it is, little brother. I'm just glad I got to see you again. And, I'm just glad you're at least a little happy to see me. I saw that.
Yeah, you see, it's like even bringing it up kind of gets him again. And he's like, well, kind of looks past you. He's like, better fix that wheel before Paul. And you see, as so often is the case on the farm, Gary, work becomes the language. And so, like you had so many times when you were children. You see, he hands you a hammer, and then he hands you a thick piece of cloth to help dampen the sound of the hammer against the wood. And he quickly goes and grabs a new wheel and starts getting ready to set it up. And with a great care, you see he places the cloth against the thing and begins to go about repairing it.
I have a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
So was Arco was the goblin. Is he still in the cart?
Thank you. I have been like, when are they going to ask me about where? Yes, Arco. And until you specify otherwise, Arco the goblin is still. Remember, he was kind of like traumatized by everything that happened, and so he's kind of just like quiet. He's still hiding like under a little tarp, like that was the plan, but he doesn't know that you were about to like maybe leave him here, and so he's like, yes, they'll come and get me any second now. Yeah, good. So yes, Arco the goblin is still in the cart.
Can we share that Greenheart love language with Arco? He's been through a lot. I mean, I just met the guy and he had a mask and he looked a little kerfuffled. So
I like that. Give me, man, what is the check for this? Because I want the dice to dictate. He is still, again, this is like it's about a lot of things have happened to this goblin in the last 4 hours. Give me a persuasion check.
Okay.
And I know you're paladin, so you're not like Mr. Persuasion check, but yeah.
That was my father. I'm Dr. Persuasion check.
They call me Doctor. All right, so
7.
you see, you kind of get to the back of the carriage, and it's not carriage, it's cart. Just a little farm cart that you guys had borrowed to go do this journey, and you see, you kind of like, hey, you kind of make a sound. You see, lifts up the little thing, the little tarp that's over the top of it. His little goblin eyes look back at you. Again, his frail white skin, beady yellow eyes, and wooden teeth. He just kind of looks at you, and you nod him over, like maybe give us a hand. You see, he's like, I don't know, really loud. And you guys, you and little and Scary Bob both look at each other at the same time. Pickles, you're laying in the lap of Alyssa Nade, and she's like kind of petting over your stomach area. She's laid a new layer of soft fur on, and she's just kind of matting it down. Now, it's not the same as the body you were made with, but since you are similarly linked to, a teddy bear, the padding and everything, she's kind of gluing it to your frame, bringing you back to closer to your original appearance after being so damaged. You sit in the cold castle chamber of the Nade Manor, and she's been tending to working on you now for a little while, trying to get you back to some. She won't get you to 100%, but let's say she could probably get you to about 90. But as you've been going about this, you've been pestering or you keep asking, what am I? And she keeps giving you these answers that kind of deflect. Well, you have been a great defender for our family for a long time. Yeah, but what am I? And so we're at the point now you've probably asked 2 or 3 times, and she's getting toward the end of her repairs. So it does seem like she's kind of skirting around answering the actual, question of what you are. Cold, dark Gothic stone of this extravagant palatial mansion that you guys live in on the edge of town. The decor, the fine chair she sits in. But yeah, Pickles, you're sitting in her lap, and you see she's looking down, and she says, "We've nearly got you back to where you started, Pickles. You're looking much better."
Thank you very much. I want to know, what were you doing up at this hour?
You see, she's like, her hand kind of stops for a moment. She looks down at your little cold, black teddy bear, cuddle-forged eyes. I heard a name that I haven't heard in a long time. Whispered on the wind. Thought I was in a nightmare, but had I been, you would have surely protected me. Like hearing of an old friend or an old enemy. Strange how similar the two are, isn't it?
Very true. So, this name, this old friend of yours, is this from your previous life?
Yes.
Mm.
Long ago. Before Sati. Before this mansion. Before my late husband passed.
And are you not going to give me any more information on whether or not this is a friend or a foe? Because I might be interested in that kind of information.
I'm being honest with you. I have forgotten.
That is how you say, just so convenient.
You like flip off the chubby bearded god in the sky, just like, all right, buddy. Yeah, no. But yes, you see, and again, no insight check required here because of how well you do know her. She's telling you the truth.
I know that. Yeah, that's why I'm not. That does not make me mad. I just know Elisa, you've lived a very long life, and I've been very grateful to be a part of it for so long, and so I'm not mad at you. Would I know anything about their friendship? Because I know Pickles has kind of had these long blackout periods of time wasted, right?
Yes.
Big chunks of time where Pickles is just a doll, right?
Yeah.
So would I have any knowledge of that in a previous life?
All right,
Maybe.
make me a history check. It's your own history. Pickles, you bring up a very good point. You don't know quite when your own memories begin. You know, the nature of your being. You know you've been with Sarah and you have a link to Alyssa, and there's times where your memories of Sarah feel like Alyssa. And
right.
But your memory, the way you can tell that some magic was involved, and maybe the magic that created your origin in the first place. So, it's there's definitely a cloud there that lingers over. So, Pickles on Wee, give me a Pickles on Wee history check.
Well, fuck me. That's fine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah! Roll dice swipe. Secret.
He's not mad. He's just disappointed.
Lighters up, friends. It's so good to be back.
Oh my god.
No, Pickles, I like the reasoning behind it. Again, we have this kind of obscure lore of your character. The definition of these terms is still eluding you. And you see, you kind of go back into your mind. And again, it's no, I don't, in fact, now, it's somewhat striking in this moment, even with the one, is it's you don't remember Alyssa's husband.
Yeah.
You don't, the fallen, there's no art about him around the manor. You've heard she's a widow. She's referred to as the widow, widow Nade. Widow Nade. That sounds like lemonade for widows.
Yeah.
But yes,
It sounds it makes widows. It's black lemonade, and it's so spicy that it's
kills husbands and makes widows. It's a spicy lemonade.
What a weird spicy lemonade.
That's a spicy lemonade. All right. All right, it's Board Streak. You guys.
When's the cookbook
Oh man!
dropping?
So yes, unfortunately, the history check perseveres. You're not aware of any details that relate to this, but it does seem like you are no fool. You do know there was a word whispered recently. This name Sardior was spoken by her and heard through this multiverse and stuff. So it does seem though that she's somewhat in tune with all that, which might be a little more surprising than as what you know of Alyssa Nade, she gives great amounts of money to the arts and to creations, but she's pretty singular. She will meet with the council when they gather in Humblepatch. She's one of the 5 members of the council. But she keeps to herself. She has a very secluded area downstairs in the castle, kind of like what would have been like a torture chamber or something, that she's turned into like her own private study. And she spends most of her time down there. But yes, you see, she's just, in this moment, she's kind of reminiscing upon this memory, trying to attach whether it is a pleasant or an unpleasant memory that this name resonates within her as she thinks about it with you in her lap.
Okay. So where is Sarah?
You see, she kind of for a moment like comes out of this wistful other place that she says, and she's like, "Oh yes, Sarah." And she's looking around. She's like, "It's almost morning time. Surely with the festival coming, there will be many men and suitors here to see who can take her."
Suitors. So many suitors. Ugh.
She's like, "Yes, Pickles. You and her seem to be growing apart." And as part of that one history check, the memories you kind of tend to push away kind of start creeping in as we see like almost like a Toy Story story of a young, beautiful girl with silver hair running around with this cuddle-forged, creature that's about the same size as her, and you guys are running, you hear your little slappy feet on the castle floor, the cold stones on your feet, laughter and giggles, long lunches and afternoons. You protected her dreams, but her dreams were always pure and chaste as she was. And so you guys just had tons of fun all the time. You were with her every hour of the day. And as this memory kind of unfolds in your own head, you start seeing, you hear the pitter patter of the feet, and you see as she continues growing in size and you do not. You see the teenager, the younger Serenade, just finally around 10, 11 years old, finally starting to go out into the surrounding areas, swimming in the moat without you and kind of still connected with you, but mostly checking back in with you as her dreams started turning darker and you became more of her stalwart defender, fighting off these dark spirits that plagued her mind. And and as you kind of watch that transition go, now she grows fully into this, the beautiful woman that she is now, about 18 years old, as far as the times go. But she's come of age to where now many suitors will begin seeking her hand. Not only the wealthy family, but also she's quite a striking and beautiful young woman. And so you see Alyssa, gives you one last look over, and she's done her
When she says that, when she goes, "Yeah, I've seen you've grown apart," then Pickles has like that, heart fall into his butt sensation. He just kind of goes like, "Wow, okay, the sun is not even up yet, and you are serving some harsh browns, I see." Jesus. And he hops out of her lap and lights a cigarette. He's just like, "Thank you, merci, thank you so much for patching me up. I really am grateful for you and for everything that you've done for me."
You see, she's like, "How about you, Pickles? Strange night it's been. Can you go rouse Sarah? She must be ready for the day that is to follow. It's the opening day." She kind of smiles, like as if the weight of all this, it's like opening day is such a big deal that it's like, ooh, even when I'm sad, it's opening day. And so she's like, it's the festival will be today. Can you go wake Sarah?
Of course. Before I go, we all hate Cedric, right? Cedric's like the worst. We do not like him.
I have never hated a man more in my life. I don't know what it is.
Just the worst.
His voice is grating. It's
I think it's just everything about him.
It's like a death by 1,000 cuts.
He's so worst.
And he's
Thank
so
you.
pretty. Oh, I know everything because I'm an elf.
The worst.
And he's like,
causing a lot of trouble too, like making adventures out to caves and shit like that. He's a really fucked up kind of guy,
She's like, yes, haha. She kind of shares the joke. You got to see is, she's going about to start attending to getting the day ready for the festival day.
You go ahead. I'm just letting you know. Cedric is the worst, and he's probably the reason why all things are anything would ever be terrible. Bye.
She's like, oh, Pickles, let's not ruin opening day with mention of Cedric. Oh, gosh. We shouldn't even be allowed to say it today. It's so terrible. Oh, I hate him. Oh, Pickles.
And then Pickles then like walks.
All right, so you're you're turning around, you're kind of walking down toward the room of Sarah, and you see the big extravagant doors. It's this beautiful Gothic mansion, and as you're walking up, you hear like squeak. These bats. There are never bats in Nade Manor, and similarly to the ones that you were just watching fly through the sky, you look. There's one on either side of the top of the door to Sarah's room. Squeak. You see these little bats fluttering. You feel kind of instinctually, put your hand on the door. And as you open the door, 100 bats start flying out all around you. You hear squeak, squeak, squeak. Digby, you're sitting here holding this giant Godseed in your hand. You saw Amaryllis's tail would disappear into the egg. Squeak, squeak, squeak. You hear the squeaking. It's roly-poly. It's like, he's like struggling under the weight of the egg. Without Amaryllis there, it would have fallen to the ground had you and he not came and caught it. And you see the last of Amaryllis's tail whip into the egg. You feel suddenly kind of wash through you this weird tether to the moment that's occurring with Amaryllis inside. You feel that sensation of extreme happiness and then extreme sorrow. And then you feel kind of the medium place. And now, as if a thaumaturgy was echoing within your own body, you feel this warm, glowing boom of Amaryllis's magics. And so just in this brief moment, you're kind of, but suddenly, Digby, it settles on you. You're in a cave, by your family's restaurant, by yourself, with this giant growing light. Amaryllis has now been sucked inside, and Roly-Poly's being crushed by the Godseed. What do you do?
So no pressure. Well, you did say that I felt a good feeling, so let's focus on that right now. That seemed to feel good. What kind of good feelings was I feeling from that?
It was like reaching your hand into a candy jar and getting a piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah, it was like the warm love of a mother, which you do have. You know, your mother is a very lovely woman.
Oh.
And so yes, similarly, the emotional wash that Amaryllis. It's so hard. You would think we're in now. It's been months. I just
Here, though.
Yeah, a little tip. Yes.
Thanks, Jake.
But yeah, God. Oh, you know what? Little Bam, I got one too. Jake made these for all of us because he's amazing and he's such a sweetheart. And so yes, the sorry, beautiful little thing. But you feel
I got y'all.
It's as if you're getting an echo of what's going on inside. Now, as it has resolved now, the feeling of dread did go away. And so it does seem like if you can sense Amaryllis and her inside this egg, she seems to be okay. Like she sees there's not a fear in her right now. So that's basically what you get from it.
Fantastic. Well, I know that the goal was to keep this safe, and I think warm it up. I believe that was the intention, was to heat the egg up to hatch temperature.
Yeah, so you guys know that it was like a volcano. Dragon's breath weapon would be like a great worm breath weapon, like a high extreme heat. You remember Cedric kind of meanly made fun of Gary for suggesting that they could like hatch it with normal heat. But your idea was definitely to get it as far away from where people would probably find it and keep it in a warm, damp, cool, dark environment. So yes, that's, you're kind of looking now. You remember you had gone through the back tunnels to kind of like the old service tunnels that you yourself had probably dug as a younger man. And you're kind of like now just looking around. The Godseed's so bright, it's almost like a spotlight on the opposite side of the cave opening, where you came in. And so it's like, whatever you're doing with this thing, you gotta do it pretty quick. What do you do?
Well, everyone looks like they're fine, I suppose, except for Roly Poly and myself. I'm about to shit myself, so I would like to get this ruby egg to the place where we were intending, which was down the tunnels near the core of the earth where it was warm and hidden, and that, I believe, if I remember correctly, that was...
Yeah. And there's also you had also spoken, there was a couple options. There was also that your father has that really deep cave that he harvests his mushrooms in, but really only he goes there. So, you could, either of those are good. The deepest hole, you're right, you probably, not many people would go there. Really just the heat itself is kind of what helps generate the heat for the restaurant as well. And so it's like leaving it down there might be the where no eyes at all might stumble upon it, but also it's not quite as lock and key hidden as, say, your father's underground mushroom colony. So, but yeah. If you want to go about moving the egg, I would say give me a stealth check as you kind of try to, with this giant bright thing, as you try to move your way down the tunnels you're quite familiar with.
With these dumps, are you serious? Come on.
Dumps like a truck,
Shit.
All right. So, you're kind of like, it's heavy, but it, normally it kind of floated around following Amaryllis, but with Amaryllis inside of it, it's not like doing that anymore. Now, the weight of it is on you and Roly Poly, but you guys kind of find a way to get it where it's, each of you on either side, but it's just like between the massive girth of your dumps and the small tunnel walls, the heft of this egg, you're kind of banging the walls a little bit. You hear little drops of dust and everything. And as you're kind of coming down around a corner, you kind of peek, and suddenly you see your father, Digbag Mole Eggington II, Digbag Mole Eggington Jr. And you see, again, he's usually not up this early, so he looks extremely tired. His eyes are almost entirely closed. And he puts his chest down. He's, is that you, Digby? Is that Digby? And you see he puts his face on the ground and he uses his tremor sense to know exactly where you are. Oh, yes. Oh, hello, Digby. What are you doing, Digby? What are you doing?
Father.
You see he's kind of falling asleep a little bit on the sand. What are you doing?
I came down here to use my masturbation chamber, as I always do at this time of the morning. I did not think you would be sleep masturbating at this time as well. Weird.
Very weird. Like father, like son, they say.
Yeah, I suppose so. We shall never talk about this. I suppose.
You see, he's kind of like traces his finger on the ground. He's like, what have you got over there? What is that? What are you dragging behind you there?
My new girlfriend, stand in.
The old Mole Eggington boys.
Yes.
You see, it's kind of like, oh, well, don't let me interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, Father, it's perfectly fine. I want you to approve of what I'm going to be doing that too. So
remember, boy, we do it all for the nookie.
Well. Yes.
You see, he's like, will you be ready for the festival tomorrow? Many people will want our wares. They want to eat the delicacies we've prepared. I shall need you all day tomorrow, all day. But this eve is yours. The eve is yours.
Yes, 20 minutes and I should be right as rain, Father.
Good boy, 20 minutes. That's a 12-year-old man.
No, 3 times.
Yeah, you see the Mole Eggingtons are weird. Like they talk about all this stuff. Okay, boy. So he's like, turn that bright light down. Sheesh. Oh, so off-putting. Well, I suppose I should go back and tend to your mother.
Disgusting.
That's so gross. You see, he crawls away, Digbag. Digbag. But yes, you see he shuttles off and continues. You see as he goes away, you're kind of like, you realize that might be the first time that you lied to him. like to his face. And so you his quite girthy dumps as well. You know, it runs in the family. You hear him softly smoothing their way along the halls they had when you were a boy, and it just touches you, reminds you. You're like, you have now lied to your father and promised him that you would be helping him all day tomorrow. You hear the glow, the kind of squiggle. You hear roly-poly on the ground, trying to help you, get this egg down. What do you want to do, Digby?
I just want to verify that I don't, in fact, remember lying to my father about anything.
That egg is not your girlfriend.
No, about what I was gonna do with the egg now that Amaryllis is trapped inside of it. No, I'm just kidding.
Got you right where I want you. Yes, just
No,
stay in there.
tell.
She feeds you,
Of course
and it's
I
like, here,
do.
have some candies. You can stay in there,
I just felt like
like a
maybe
little music box.
He was asleep-ish, kind of. So I didn't feel as bad because I hope he don't remember in the morning, and I'll be able to help him all day
All day.
with my big dig energy.
Big dig energy. Dig bags are well known for. All right, so Digby, you take the egg and kind of start rolling it down this other tunnel. You hear the loud snores of the other workers, other mole folk that work in the burrow. As everybody else, like I said, it stays open pretty late, but then doesn't open again until around midday. So the bulk of everybody there is knocked out and sleeping. So you've kind of got this quiet last opportunity around the burrow right now. If there was anything you wanted to do there, or is that, or do you want to just kind of stow the egg away and then head back up?
Well, I was gonna say, is Rolly fine, or does he need repairs of any sort? Does he?
You look down at him. He didn't actually take any damage. That wouldn't be
Okay,
fair of me to
fantastic.
inflict actual damage upon him. But he was a little squeaked by the crushing weight of the egg that laid on him.
Yeah, okay. He's my buddy. I want to make sure he's all right.
I get it.
Yeah.
Little guy. He's already proved very useful.
Yeah, right. I like him. He's good. Well, then, yeah, I suppose that I will be, storing the egg.
Okay, cool. Do you want to do do you want to build like jury rig something, like some kind of way to cover it up, or like how do you want to hide it? Do you just want to put it at the end of a tunnel? Like, what do you want to do? You are quite an intelligent fellow, so.
Well,
I'd
I'd like to dig out a little hole and then put the egg, like, just in the little side of the tunnel, and then maybe have roly-poly just, stand guard. Just be over there, because we can communicate with each other, and it's good. I think it's within a certain range, but I'm not terribly far away, I don't think, or at least tremor sense travels through the earth.
Yeah,
So
I mean, tremor sense is 30 feet, I think. It's like, it's all the spaces that are involved. If you're leaving roly-poly there, you wouldn't be able to, it would be too far. I mean, depending on where you're going. Are you just going to go to your room?
I mean, everyone else is sleeping in the caves. I might just be like, oh, well, I'll get an early start on gathering grubs with everyone else who's sleeping here. I was asleep with the rest of you guys the whole time.
Cool. All right,
Nothing
so yeah,
going on
you
in this cave.
you set up the digging holes is quite your specialty. You take your little scoop shield off your back and make quick work of a little hole in the earth to cover up the egg. You still feel that kind of tether to the energies of Amaryllis within the egg, experiencing this strange moment deep within this shift in emotion that you can feel within you as well. You feel kind of like as you stand around in the tunnels of the Burrow restaurant, really the only world you've ever known. This last night, the most crazy thing that's ever occurred in your entire life is typically a homebody that tinkers your way around. The sudden brilliance of that connection to the Ruby Maiden allowed you this new flash of avarice, these new infusions you're able to create. These new, even Roly-Poly himself came from a flash of brilliance, gifted you by this crazy ride that you had gone on. You're kind of sitting there in your tunnel, looking around for grubs and things like that, kind of considering what your next day will be like. And you start hearing this. rumbling. You feel your tremor sense goes wild. You kind of turn and look over. You see, even buried underneath the ground itself, the glowing of the egg starts glowing ever brighter, piercing even through earth, as if, like magic tendrils of light begin extending from the egg and rooting into the ground all around it. You see these vines start collapsing small service tunnels as they just reach, and you see as they turn into white actual tendrils and vines that begin growing out from the egg itself, as you hear the thaumaturgy boom response of Amaryllis in reply. That's where we're going to pick it up after intermission, guys. Woo.
Wow.
Holy crap, dudes.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much, especially my crew. You guys are amazing. It can be tricky to play 5 smaller stories at the same time. You're all amazing. I love you. So fucking A, dudes. Oh my gosh, we are gonna do us a little 10-minute intermission. I've got to refill my water glass here. Don't forget to crit sip if you're playing along at home. Hydrate. Don't forget to hydrate. And we have a little 10-minute intermission here. It's got all the original music of Sandy Stein. Again, all our music for the show is created by one brilliant man. His name is Sandy Stein, and he's a fucking legend. There's also all the contributed artwork from freaking over a dozen artists, I think, at this point now. Over 100 pieces of art have been generated for the show. It's just, it's a beautiful thing. Check out all this art. Check out all this music. P, fill your water glass, roll another joint, and we will be back in 10 minutes to... see what's going on in all these very high octane situations.
High octane.
High.
I got you.
Thanks, guys.
There you go.
Never really had Welcome back, buds, to WeeDnD, the hot positive live tabletop role-playing experience. Man, we have been having us quite a sesh. We're getting a little chance to step into the individual lives of each of the 5 members of the helping committee. Man, what a little slice of life we have seen. Currently, and a lot of stuff is going on. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited to jump back in. So, hey guys, let's jump back in. Digby, you're sitting there in the cave, you know, the earth and vines and everything that you'd use to cover the egg, you know, setting it into a nice comforted place within the earth, warmed closest to the core of the earth that lends to the fertile soils of Sativon, you know, the warm earth itself, the just benevolent, life-giving source that seems to have now kind of fused with this strange egg in the ground. You see the white tendrils of energy growing out around you in all directions. You know, your fears start to build that perhaps the restaurant itself could be damaged by this, you know, confluence of magic that's happening before you. You're kind of trying to like grab the little like bits of white that pull by you and stop them from heading toward the restaurant proper. But you see, as you're kind of like looking in, you see the strangest thing. You look in, and at the base and right in the very center of the Godseed, you see a small fireplace. You're like staring at it, and you look, and you know you can see a burning campfire just emanating this pinpoint of light before you. And this egg is all this chaos that's starting to occur around you. Dickens, you're sitting in the bar. The last of the silent members have walked out, and you see the in the guise of Alonzo Quinfallow, the Wayfarer still sitting before you, and suddenly, like, it's as if she detects it in the air. She looks at you for a moment. She goes, "This is exciting." Dickens, you start looking, and for a moment, you see this pinpoint of red light before you. Gary, you're standing in the family barn. You hear the goblin, "What?" like call out, and you and Scary Bob lock eyes at the same time. Suddenly you hear a loud bang from the main house. "Who's that out there?" You know the voice. Larold Greenheart, your father, has been roused by this sound and is coming toward the barn now. You look over at Larry, and he's just gesturing you to go. You turn around. There's an explosion of bats in your face, Pickles, as you pry the door open, and you see Serenade floating above her bed. Her silver and white hair just dangling down behind her, but she appears to be in a state of slumber. All these bats are flying around. You see you just like, whack, just cross punch one of them, turn around, spin kick another one, and you're just punching through this wave. Just backflip, kick, drop, backflip, but it's like a river pushing against you. And rather than fight, you're almost swimming through these bats to get to her, as you feel yourself starting to permeate into the dream space where you defend her from her nightmares. And as you're swimming against this sea of bats, you see this red light fixated at the center point. For a brief moment, you hang. Amaryllis, VonCheux, floating in this void of creativity, this space. You start feeling that energy call back to you. You use your thaumaturgy to respond in kind to match the sound you heard from this strange space around you. It permeates the sky around you, and you watch as all of the glowing golden clouds start turning darker, but not scary, not sad, not storm clouds, but the color begins to fade as if they were clouds in the night sky. And you feel yourself as this kind of extension of everything around you. Take yourself back to the last bit of comfort that you had in your mind. And you suddenly are standing around a campfire. The smell of cinnamon in the air. 4 new friends of yours standing around the fire as well. Each of you, in your moment as you're staring at this pinpoint of light, it grows to be the campfire that you all first met in. You see, you're looking around. The city of Humblepatch is not around you. This void, this space, seems to extend only to the limits of this memory that Amaryllis has kind of brought you all into through the tethers of the Godseed. We're all sitting there, Digby no longer your family's restaurant, no longer in the caves, the tendrils of magic. Dickens, no longer staring at the face of the Wayfarer, who seemed to watch you disappear with great delight. Gary, the pounding footsteps of your father coming toward the barn, no longer in your ears. Pickles, the sea of bats, gone. And Amaryllis, you're sitting there staring at the fire. And you watch as this little small fire dragon births itself. It's maybe only the size of an owl, maybe about 1.5 feet tall, but you see it floating there just in the fire. You hear the words, does anybody speak Draconic?
No.
Is halfling anything close?
I wish I had like a sweet, yes and for that. Yes, halflings and dragons would share similar ancestors.
Computer blue. I don't know what that is.
What's that?
Computer blue. I speak computer blue.
Darling Pinky.
Darling Pinky.
But
Oh, what language do I speak?
mean, I have this draconic
Macaques.
connection. I don't speak it, but do I feel the vibe?
All right, so you're feeling the vibe on this language, right?
Can I
But it's
roll
almost like
really
if, for a modern ear, listening to a tuning of an AM radio. Okay, so it's like, and you're just hearing it go through like all these different permutations of language as it's attempting to communicate with you. What do? You kind of sense that that's what it's doing. It's trying to find a way to communicate with you. Amaryllis, with this moment, standing at this campfire, surrounded by the helping committee, aware of their presence here, what do you do?
Yeah, we'll get to you guys in a minute. That's fine. I want to give a little away.
Yeah, I'm on.
Oh,
What's
hi
that?
everybody! Yeah, you're here.
This-
And then I just want to call out, hello.
You hear, hello! See it go into the fire. The little fire dragon's tails and wings burn a little brighter. You hear hello echoed back to you. Hello!
How are you doing?
How are you doing? Hello is echoed back. It's not quite doing the trick yet.
Okay. Well, hi guys. How are we doing? We're all okay. Everybody's here now. I'm happy to see you all. Does anybody want to say something? Maybe we could all try a group chant.
Well, listen, hello. We are part of the helping committee. Amaryllis, are you okay? Where are we right now?
I think we're in the seed thing. You know, the egg. You remember the egg from that we were carrying around and stuff? Remember that? Yeah. Okay, just making sure.
Did everything that just happened, like, did that happen? And
Right.
I wanna take out the Alonza magic arrow because supposedly it would say
You
where home
do
was.
have the Alonza arrow.
I'd like to just place it down next to the campfire to see where's home.
I cannot be inside of a seed thing. I have to be back at my home because Sarah was being attacked by bats.
Oh, that sounds very stressful. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. That was very stressful.
Yeah. Oh, are you okay?
I mean, look at me. I'm put
Yeah.
back together. Look at
Yeah,
it.
you're looking good actually.
You look great. You look,
Thank you. Thank
look
you.
really
Oh,
good.
merci beaucoup. Merci.
Yeah.
So as you speak, Pickles, about this thing with the bats, again, the outskirts, like, you should be able to see the town of Humblepatch. And Gary, as you set the arrow down to point you toward home, you see the arrow just start spinning on the ground.
Gosh,
You know,
darn
Pickles,
it.
the orb of detection, you can feel kind of wigging out. You know, it's at the same level of direction. You know, it's like, it doesn't, you're like feeling a compass spin and just like, it's strange. But as you start speaking about the bats, at the edge of this space, you see manifested a picture of exactly what Pickles is describing. And you see this sea of bats, this floating child in her bed, but time appears frozen.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's the shit that I am dealing with. How about you guys?
Oh, that's crazy.
Can we see the egg? We just see this little dragon.
You just see this little dragon right now, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Oh no. Kiss him.
Oh.
yeah. I obviously I go
put
towards.
them in your pants.
Kiss him. Kiss him.
I want to
Thomas.
be like a
Wait, it's a her, right? It's Sardior?
Sardior, yeah, and again, I just want to specify, in Ganjaria, and the world we play in, Sardior is a woman, Ruby Maiden.
Nice.
Okay, right. That's why I just wanted. Yep. Yeah. Now I
Pickles.
feel weird saying it. I'm not gonna
Wait.
say it. Don't put her in your pants.
You think you can ride that dragon?
Well, I think I need to communicate with it first. I only know Cuddleforge and also Common and Abyssal. That is all I really know.
I mean,
So
this
I
whole-
think with Abyssal, and so maybe I will try to speak in any of those languages. You know.
Okay,
Come
yeah,
on.
no, you know, you kind of like work through your your list. Amaryllis, you kind of start watching as this creature floats, in response. And you see that it appears like the language, like the words themselves, kind of have some sort of like ethereal magic to them. And as Pickles is speaking and going through these different languages, you see it's attempting to funnel this all through, and you hear the shifting of the words coming from the mouth. Hello, and you see it keeps testing hello, but you keep hearing hello back. But yes, it's still.
You know what this with these dragon reminds me of by saying hello, and you guys. I look at Dickens. I'm like, this is very glorpy over here, you know.
Hello.
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 Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's funny. I like to think that we're all just standing in a circle doing glorp quotes like around this.
I am
Okay.
glorp.
All right. So like that's that's enough people talking about glorp for me to be like, okay, and I want to use my guidance to be like, glorp. This is a formal what the fuck is going on?
All right, maybe a religion check, Dickens.
A formal. I love that. You don't pray to God. You just go, what the fuck is happening?
Glorp appropriate.
Glorp
Formally.
Appropriate. Oh,
All right, so Dickens, you kind of cast out and question to your deity. Sometimes you've been lucky enough to get some seeming response before, but again, in this kind of void in this space, you don't really feel that divine connection. But as you start considering your link between you and Glorp, you are a man of religion. You are a cleric, and you've seen many rituals, and you at this point start thinking about the rituals that you saw that had taken place in a temple of the Ruby Maiden. And how the language on the walls and on the tapestries and all around was the language of the dragons. And so you start kind of putting ritual and religious language together in a moment. And you think if you tried hard enough, you might be able to perform a ritual that delivered a message. You're like, I could structure a ritual. It's like, based on what I know about the way gods are and everything, you could send a message. I would say a single sentence message to this creature through your knowledge of ritual.
Could I help with that?
well,
With
yeah,
his
I was
glorp
gonna say,
powers, my smoothie powers?
Yeah, could we all could I
I want-
recognize that going through the different languages could kind of decipher different words that it would understand, that we would understand in a group collective, and as we join hands in religion and word knowledge and never really experiencing much, just through the power of friendship, just solve all the crimes together to be best friends forever. So
Can I
Yeah,
pepper
in fact-
some of my thaumaturgy to boom our voices and make it super strong.
Yeah, all this is fantastic. I'm loving every bit of this. Yeah. So yes, you see, Digby again. You are so hyper intelligent that quickly you pick up upon the strange movements that Dickens is starting to, as he's considering the steps of a ritual and how to transfer that into a thing. You realize that as you kind of look over at the glow in Amaryllis's dark eyes, that she is the ultimate focus for whatever you guys are trying to do. And so, your intelligence would lead you to believe that whatever this ritual is, it should be through the lens of Amaryllis. And so, like focusing a beam of light through a bent piece of glass, you start running it. It's clear to you. And even though you don't have the religious knowledge that Dickens has, that's kind of helping him, you being so intelligent start almost helping augment the experiment. Okay, and so you see this, Pickles, you can't help but kind of see the bats, the child, the child you see, but the young woman Sarah, that kind of that fear and that need that unfortunately there is a bit of need there that hasn't been present in a while, and so you guys are all kind of standing around. I'm going to leave this up to you how you want to do it, but I like what's going on. So what do you want to do?
I figured this is kind of like our little universe that somehow Amaryllis and Sordior, and it's pulled us into this safe space outside of our own lives that we can, as new friends and companions with all of these needs and wants that we've always felt but never had the opportunity to explore or talk about or feel, we can kind of decide where we want to go at this point, because this is our safe space. And now we have the power of a fucking ruby dragon legend behind us to catapult us into the unknown if we're willing to take that leap together. That's just Drew saying that.
It was really, really lovely.
It was nice. Yeah.
Thank you. I want to hug that little dragon baby. Cause you know what language is universal?
Oh.
Fucking right. Smoking cigarettes.
Nicotine.
It's just everyone knows it.
Everyone knows.
Yeah. Love, bitch. So I'm gonna give that bitch some love.
That's the power of love.
Yeah, literally.
All right,
that.
so with the hug power of pickles on
Like
weed,
that's my ad. That's my
Yeah.
ad. So everyone's like that. Like if we all are doing the thing at once, Pickles in that moment will hug. He's like fresh. He's fresh. Ooh,
Feeling
yeah.
fresh, so
He's
precious.
gonna give that good hug. Yeah. Fresh out of the shower. Hug, baby.
Look at that. Yeah, you guys notice Pickles does look a lot better than the last time that you saw him.
Why?
Looks like he's gotten a little TLC.
Yeah.
All right, so Gary, bestowing the power of the Green Lady, Dickens, is setting about this ritual augmented through the keen observatory skills and intelligence of Digby. On top of the hug of Pickles on Wee and Amaryllis, kind of serving as the focus of this. I'm interested, what is the one sentence that you send to this entity? And you guys can discuss it before you don't have to worry. I'm not the first thing that you say. I'm not gonna be like, that's it. It's a ham sandwich now. Whatever.
I was choosing my words very carefully.
Yeah, no, you feel free to, at the end, you can be like, and this is what we say. I'm cool with that. Feel free to discuss.
As it's happening, if it's okay, like just for flavor, for the smooth hands love, it's just been passed down after like hundreds and hundreds of years, but it's like I'm humming the tune to Silver Rain and like
Make me cry.
just to kind of, I don't know, it's like I got Dickens like ritual vibe and just got kind of started.
Yeah, and I'm also like.
There it is.
I absolutely love every single bit of this.
I don't know why, but I'm kind of feeling like this, like deep drum beat vibe. I don't know if it's because some part of my soul from another character that I've ever played before, like, is channeling through me. I don't know what it is, but some part of me just wants to fucking get it on.
Oh my God.
Fucking yeah, let's do it.
Okay, some part of me wants to say happy birthday. Let's say happy birthday. We're being very rude. It's their birthday.
They're turning born today.
Yeah.
Born today.
They're turning born. Yeah, I'm gonna say happy birthday. That's the funneling through me and the thaumaturgy. The words spill out of my mouth.
Can we invite the dragon to come back through one of these doors with us?
Yeah. Should we try?
Wait, what door?
All right, so what are we gonna say?
Wait, yeah, what doors?
Yeah, they were like little weird window things. Right?
Yeah, kind of like the vignette of Pickles' existence
Oh.
behind her, kind of seeing your guys'
Yeah.
lives.
I
Still
thought
kind
of it
frozen
as like
in time.
portals in Gauntlet, like when you kind of like.
I kind of seen that too.
Nailed it.
So thank you.
Oh, I like that.
Nailed it. That's
Ooh.
I could do that too.
so
I-
we're
I-
inviting.
I like happy birthday. That's very nice.
we're inviting Sardior to join one of the portals of our lives? Is that what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I don't know.
which portal would we choose? That's the
Well,
thing.
fuck.
Well, how about we see what happens with this first?
I want to say happy birthday. I feel very rude that I haven't said it already. I would like to wish them a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And we got a celebration going on down here.
Party it up.
Hug
All right.
party.
So you guys, as Dickens completes his ritual, and everybody's the music in tune, their moments in place. You say, "Happy birthday," and send it into this little dragon. You see as it kind of begins to burn. As Pickles, you feel the warmth in your arms as this strange, like, warm hug starts kind of surrounding you, and you feel the fire that's in your arms starts growing. And growing.
Uh-oh.
And then finally your little, you're like kind of clasped around it. Your little paws pop off. And this fire continues growing. Begins to fly above you. You watch the sky turn into a sea of flames. Golden, pure, robust. Not savage and biting, but there's a warm benevolence in the sky all around you. You see piercing through the clouds of fire, the long drawn snout of the Ruby Maiden. And taking up what would be a mountain size in the sky, you see the very edge of the mouth of the actual mouth of the Ruby Maiden herself. You hear that same loud sound, the augmenting of all your own languages. Pickles in your ear, you hear an infernal, "Happy birthday." To Gary, as you kind of, in your own mind, you hear in halfling, "Happy birthday." Any other languages that you guys hear, you start listening and you hear that returned semblance of happy birthday as this giant fiery mouth glows in the sky. And then suddenly at once, in all of your minds, "Happy birthday," in common. Yes. I can speak to you. The mouth doesn't move. It's so large that you fear if it opened, the fires would overwhelm you. The whisper of the voice from within echoes from the fiery dragon in the sky. What say you?
I drop to my knees and bow in respect.
The others?
I'm
Oh, you like one of my French girls.
Hello, we are part of the helping committee.
Child, stand. You feel like Amaryllis as you kind of kneel on the ground. This strange campfire memory that you have, not in the real tangible place, but the last kind of calm memory you had before this surge of wild magics that have thrown you about. You stand yourself back up. Feel a little gust kind of helps lift you onto your feet. It's gentle and soft. It's caring, but powerful. There's a bubbling of energy, this fire around you so intense you feel the heat on your face and yet it burns not. I see you, child, as I saw you before. What brings you to me?
Before? You saw me before?
You see in the sky around you, suddenly like the illusions, again, like in Gauntlet, you see the image of you, almost as like a painting. You see this Amaryllis decked out, reaching out toward this egg floating in a chamber of wild tendrils of dark purple and black magics in the heart of the temple of the Ruby Maiden. And you remember that point where you kind of had that connection to it. It's as if a photograph was taken in that moment. You saw me, saw through. What brings you here?
I'm seeking change. And knowledge, and I had to know who you are and of you and serve you.
You see the snout withdraws, the fires billow, and you see two giant eyes pierce the horizon, reptilian large, but spanning the entire horizon before you. These two eyes open and bathe you with this radiant light, so bright that even in this dreamscape, it's hard to look. You see the intense burning of these fiery eyes of the Ruby Maiden looking back at you. You are my children, lost in a world without your mother. You know, you saw suddenly around you, you start to see signs of strife and toil. You see a city built upon a series of volcanoes, savage glass pillars in the sky, and green burning fires. You see images of an icy wasteland with this cave of swirling ice, a doom creature made of ice and metal standing at the cave's entrance. You see armies fighting fields of shadows, and suddenly the turmoils of the world beyond the gate of Sativan starts appearing all around you. World is lost without its mother. See all these illusions start burning away. Soon this world shall bathe in fire, if I am not brought to remedy things. All the images fade away. Must birth me in this world, child. The eyes close. You must find fires. You see the clouds of fire in the sky. Oh, and thanks for saying happy birthday. The clouds kind of burn and fade away. You see one pinpoint of light drips. And it's the campfire before you once more. The fire spirit seems gone. The voice absent. But as you all look around, you're each reminded of these perils that each of you were facing in the moment before you were summoned to this place. Campfire crackles. The faint smell of cinnamon still in the air. What do you do?
Cool, I have to go back to make sure Sarah is not being eaten by bats, which I also did not realize that the bats were like another thing we had to worry about, so I'm annoyed about that. I thought we just had to worry about that stupid mask.
Oh yeah, that's a whole new problem.
Actually, the mask isn't that stupid. I really like him. He was a very nice person. I'm glad he and I became friends. Where is he? I want to say hi.
I realized that my clothes are all on backwards now for some reason.
Tell me my answers.
That's gone.
Quoi?
It's gone. Where'd it go?
I damnedest thing. It.
So, as you start to, search for the answer, again, the kind of material of this place, you see behind Dickens the Hopalong Haven, and sitting in a chair, looking, with great delight, is Dickens Tangleface. It's somebody that looks exactly like Dickens Tangleface, and he has the mask going into his pants.
I kind of still have it.
Can I do a nose test? Like honk each, just for.
So you would have to go, again, it's kind of like Shimmery Portal. You would have to go to that. Basically, there's a few doorways set out in front of you right now. There's the burrow within the earth where the egg is, down by the burrow with where Digby was. There's the Hopalong Haven where it looks like Dickens Tangleface is sitting with the mask at a table waiting for Dickens Tangleface. Gary, your family farm, you can see Laryl Jr. like looking over his shoulder back, as he's putting the last little pin of a wheel in of a cart, and the cascading shadow of your father drawing ever closer to the barn. And then Pickles, your backdrop, the bats around the child's serenade. Amaryllis, you don't really have one right now. You're kind of the thing holding this whole mess together right now. This is kind of happening in your own mind, kind of. It's how this memory place was drawn in the first place.
May I call out to the Dickens hole and just go, I'll look at Dickens while I do it. Dun, 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 dun.
It's canon. So you hear from the portal beyond.
Does it sound off? Sounds off.
Yeah,
Sounds a little off.
I turn to Gary and I say, well, I wouldn't want to keep myself waiting. And like...
Yeah, I also immediately just kind of go back into my portal. I'm like, well, I'm going to go back and take care of this. If you want to come with me, you are welcome to. Otherwise, I got some shit to do. So he does like a little backflip into it. Yeah.
All right, you see Dickens is like, well, they're up. And you're like, wait a minute, what about the mask again? And he disappears into his portal. And then, Pickles is just like, well, like, you're welcome to come join me. Backflips into the sea of bats. And you see both those portals kind of shimmering as if they're getting ready to close. What do the three others do?
Well...
What are you thinking, friend?
I don't know. I feel such a strange connection with Pickles because of our love, of our hate of Cedric. So I want to go and help my friend, I don't know. I've never read or researched anything. I find him so interesting, and we just both hate Cedric so much. I just want to go and help him, That's what I'm going to do.
Between you and me, friend, if I'm going to share something, Cedric's kind of a asshole.
Gary Greenheart.
Put $1 in the swear jar.
Holy. Hold a minute. All right, so Digby, you going into the Pickles portal?
Pickles portal?
I love my life.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Ah! Nice
The
pun.
pickle.
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
so
you want
is
to
that what
jump
you're doing,
right
Digby?
into my pick hole? It's briny.
All right, so Digby, are you going into Pickles hole portal?
Me?
Digby.
Sorry. Oh, you're muted.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
I just
I
don't
am.
want to make decisions for
Jumping-
you guys. So
jumping right
so
on
you're
in.
going to Pickles portal.
Okay.
Gary, what are you doing?
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
If I can potentially jump back into the Gary hole and go back to the farm, because me and Scary Bob, we're good. It's nice to know we're good. But if I can yank out Arco's teeth and just kind of muffle him and then start making a run for Nade Manor.
Whichever portal, if that's what you want to do, if you want to jump back into yours and then just like run toward where you know Nade Manor is, yes, you can totally do that. What happens will be dictated by Dyson. But if that's what you want to do, you want to jump back into Gary portal?
Yeah, and just give Scary Bob a little sign off, grab the goblin, and then dip on over to Nade Manor.
All right. You see Gary jumps back into where you see his image and the visage disappears for a moment. Amaryllis and Digby, you guys are standing there, Dickens has popped away. Big bag. Oop, nope. Rosie, that's the one. Here we go. Pickles has popped away. And it is just the two of you now standing at this fire, kind of as Digby, you start kind of walking over toward Pickles' portal. Amaryllis, what are you gonna do? Where are you going?
I'm thinking about going. I want to help Pickles out. You know, I feel very safe and very comfortable here. I almost don't want to leave, but the work has to be done. My friends have to be helped. Yeah, I wanna head towards the Pickles hole as well.
All right, so you guys kind of, you see Digby's dump casting mad shadows from the campfires. You guys kind of waddle over toward the Pickles hole. You see the other ones start kind of fading away. You see as Dickens disappears, it's like he steps in and suddenly there's two Dickenses standing there in this strange, the hop along haven. And you see it disappears. You see Gary Greenheart landing in his farm, and he turns and he looks his brother like gesturing him to run away as one of the back doors of the barn. You know, you hear the footsteps once more in your ear. It fades away. You guys quickly, you know, as you guys go toward the portal for Pickles, jump in, and we see Pickles, Digby, and Amaryllis all in the child Nade's room, time frozen in this moment, as you see Pickles kind of reaching forward, the nightmare realm that you are familiar with fighting in Pickles, kind of half there and half not in this strange moment. We see each of these 5 windows into the lives and souls of each of these characters, and in this void, the fire once more reburns. Fools. Whispers in this darkness, the lot of them fools. And that's where we're gonna pick it up next time, guys. Okay, dope. All right, so, all right. But you guys didn't hear that. You guys. It's called dramatic irony. Sorry, guys. We fucking love Dungeons and Dragons so much.
Ooh,
guys,
boy.
thank you so much. It's so good to fucking be back. Love fucking playing D&D with you guys. Thanks to all the incredible artists. Thanks to Stephanie running the studio. Thanks to Sean, who fucking just works the magic. Everybody just doing so much to make this thing happen. It is let me tell you, I haven't been away from it for a couple weeks, and just where I feel right now, how good I feel. It's just like, man, I love this thing, and I love doing it with you guys. I love it all. So guys, fucking A, man. Well, we were a little shorter tonight, but think of how excited we know what this next. I can't wait. Oh my God, this is oh gosh, thank you guys so much. I'm hyped. All right, thank you. Fuck yes. We have us a little ritual we like to do around here, guys. Maybe you heard about it, maybe you haven't, but we like to take a lighter like this blue one told you it was gonna change. Make sure we're not gonna light any of our friends, family, household pets, or ruby maiden dragons on fire, and go lighters up. Oh man, I love D&D. Thanks for playing with us, guys. We fucking love you.
Hell yeah.
Gary made a sweary.
Gary me.
Oh my God.
So what? You can't touch me, 'cause I'm from the internet.